All right, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to demolish a steering gearbox job. This is my 17 L5P. I'm about to replace it for the second time, unfortunately. The first time around, I was trying to find a bunch of videos on how to get it done. I couldn't find any. There was maybe a couple, but they didn't show really like how to get everything out. It would just kind of jump. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. I'm going to be knocking this out quick, probably like 2 hours maybe. Maybe less. But essentially what was going on is my original one was leaking, and then I had a little bit of play in it, but you know, nothing crazy, nothing too concerning. So I went ahead and got a red head, got the red head in there, and unfortunately I was having issues. My truck was doing this. So before I go ahead and pull everything back out, they did give me permission to loosen up the jam nut for adjusting the lash on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick and a little over loosen it a little bit, you know, just to be sure that it's not that. I don't think it is. We're suspecting it's like a leaky or a sticky valve, excuse me, on the inside. So yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. So I got the front end jacked up and I'm just gonna turn the wheel a little bit off center. There we go. That way, you know, there's not a lot of stress on the internals whenever I loosen that nut up. All right, so I got it loosened up some more, like way more than it should be. Let's see if it fixes a problem at all. I'd say no. Yeah, definitely not. Still really tough. And then obviously, yeah. So yeah, as you saw, did not work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it apart. First thing we're gonna do, jack it up, get the driver's side wheel off, and then gonna get the felt liner off the fender well. It's gonna give us access to everything, make it way easier, and then we'll get into it. All right, so now that we got our felt cover off, you know, we have access to everything. So really the only things you're gonna have to worry about is a little 11 millimeter for the steering shaft. Then it's gonna be two 18 millimeters for the high pressure, and then the return line right here. And we get great access to that with the cover off. And then we're gonna have to take this little computer off. And I'll show you guys how I'm gonna do that in a second, because it's a pain in the ass. Another thing is that it gives us great access for whenever we're about to bust the pitman arm off, we can stick our, and then here are the three 24 millimeter bolts to get the box off itself. We're also gonna have to remove this sway arm. Makes it 10 times easier. Plus you can't really get to that bolt unless it's off, but super simple. But yeah, let me show you guys how to get this stupid ass computer off. So I'm gonna get everything unplugged and then I'll show you guys my concoction. All right, so here we can see I do have the electronic assist truck, so it has that little solenoid on the bottom, or at least I think it's a solenoid. But basically there is one main connector on the left side of the computer and then two over here. Just pop them off real quick and then we'll get it out. All right, so now that we have two of the connectors off, because this one in the corner right here is a little pain in the ass, so I'm gonna wait until I get it off to disconnect it. I don't know if you guys can see right there. There's a little, it's a T40 screw, and there's one on the top. I'll show you guys how I'm gonna get it out. So I highly doubt you guys can see it, but right, oh, there it is. Right there on the tip of my finger is another T40, all the way down there in a little pain in the ass spot. And there's a 13 millimeter on the other side. So I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna make it my bitch. Yeah. So essentially, just gonna run this down there. I'm gonna get it into the head of the bolt and the bolt, but I'm not gonna try and turn it anything. And then I'm gonna get a ratchet on this end right here. Then I'm gonna get underneath with the impact and get it out. So there's a little 13 millimeter right there. So I'm down here. I'm gonna get my impact and my little short 13 with an extension and then get it up there. And essentially I'm just gonna reach around over here and hold those extensions in place while I impact it with my other hand, so I can't record at the same time, but you essentially get the idea. Another thing I completely forgot to do this, and a bunch of other stuff, you're gonna have to take off this dust cover right here. It's just 415 millimeters, but let me do that real quick and then I'll get this off. All right, so got the computer out. Finally got that one pain in the ass connector. I think it was this one right here. It's just a weird connection style. So, but yeah, finally got that out. Now I'm gonna go ahead. I could put it off, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the sway link or the sway bar off, just because it's gonna make my life easier. So all this is literally two 15 millimeters. Just get a 15 millimeter wrench right here. I'm gonna get on the bottom with my impact on either side, and then these mounting bolts right here are just two 10 millimeter bolts, 2 on each side. So I'm gonna get those popped off real quick. Well, obviously couldn't find my 10 millimeter. So I found a 1/4 inch one, and this is what happens. All right, so now we got the sway bar off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this steering shaft off. So like I said, it's just a little 11 millimeter. All right, so there it is right there. Just gonna get my little 1/4 inch ratchet on it, get that off, and then you can just wiggle it off while pushing it back up, or you can just give this a few taps and it should tap right off. All right, so I got the shaft off. I know it's interesting. I fought that for a little bit. Last time, I just completely took the bolt out from the get-go, and this time I tried to leave it a little bit in. I guess it has to be completely out for you to get the shaft off, but yeah, just take the bolt completely off and then just get a pry bar in there and it'll slide right off. Now that I got that off, the last thing I kind of want to do here is get these lines off, and then we can actually take the box off itself. So yeah, for that, it's gonna be an 18, and then you're gonna need a pair of pliers to get the little hose clamp off of the return line. You don't need to take the nipple off for it to get it out, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyways, just to get it out of the way. Now that you got everything off, the lines, shaft, get the sway bar off, and you got the computer off, the last thing to do would be take these 3 24 millimeters out and then disconnect the pitman arm from the center link. And the way I'm doing it, I'm not even gonna have to take the center link out or anything. And whenever we go back in, I'll show you guys how I do that. But that's just another pain in the ass thing that I don't have to do with the way I do it. So yeah, I'm gonna pop these 3 bolts off. Obviously you wanna get things loose before you try and take this off, or else it's not gonna have anywhere to go when you try and pop it off. So I'm just gonna get these off with the impact, and then I'll show you guys how to do this. All right, so I got those bolts out. Now I got the nut off of the pitman arm already. I literally just put this on here. It's a brand new Kryptonite pitman arm, but you know, if you got your stock one on there, you know, and you're doing this job, I'd just throw a new one on there. It doesn't have to be Kryptonite, but you know, you're already in here. It's cheap insurance. Well, this one wasn't cheap, but yeah, I'm just gonna reuse it because I've literally haven't even drove the truck really yet. So like I said, easiest way to get this off is right in through here. Gonna get our fork here, flat side down always, and just give it a few good whacks and it should pop right off. All right, like I said, pop right off. You know, if yours is older, you know, it might be a little tougher. I know I had to give mine wax for like a good minute or so when I first took the old one off, but this one, since it was brand new, it just popped right back out. So now that we have this popped off, you should be able to work this in a way to where, because this can obviously has some play in it, can come down and up the center link and the tie rods. It's gonna have some wiggle room in it for you to move it around, and then also work this gearbox. I can't move it like that because it's heavy as fuck, but yeah, you should be able to just pull and maneuver the gearbox up and around in a way that you can just literally just pull this up out of the center link, and then it should be able to come out the front if you maneuver it a certain way. All right, so for some reason, my method that worked last time isn't working. So what I'm gonna do is get a ratchet strap around the center link, and I am going to clip it down here. I'm gonna crank that sucker, and it is going to come right out. All right, so as y'all can see, got my ratchet strap right there on the center link. Literally one crank, and it's about to fall out. So I figured I'd stop it right there, and then now I should just be able to just pull it out real quick. So here I am, literally just pushed it right up and out. I'm holding it in place right now, and the steering gearbox should just fall out of the front right here where the sway bar is. That's why it's important to take that out, also to get those bolts. But now it should just literally drop out the front. You might have to, you know, turn it sideways a little bit, but yeah, it's just gonna drop right out. So I'm gonna get that out for y'all, and yeah. So I'm gonna have to find a way to get this pitman arm off, because the puller from O'Reilly's is way too small to get it off, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to find some claw or some claw puller or something like that, try and get it off. Then I gotta pull my solenoid off. Another thing is, this gearbox will probably be harder to pull than most 11 to 19s, or I think it's 11 to current, actually. This is probably way harder because it has the electronic shit on it. Most of them are just like plain gearboxes. So the guys at Redhead were pretty chill about it. They weren't really hesitant to send me a new one. So that's gonna be in the mail in a couple days. So I'll see you guys then, and I'm gonna pick up my mess. But yeah, I'll show you guys how to get the new one on. All right, so we just got the new unit in from Redhead. I'm a little skeptical because it's still like really tight, and it's not really wanting to turn. I know by hand is like, I can't really judge it by that. I think what went wrong with this one was it was an internal failure. So, but yeah, about to show you guys how I'm gonna do this pitman arm. So literally none of the pitman arm pullers I could find from like parts stores would even fit on this. They actually won't even fit on the stock one, which is kind of ridiculous. So as you can see, literally doesn't even fit on the stock one. I am going to try and use this little puller to get this pitman arm off. So I got this 1 13/16 inch wrench that I'm going to use to get this off. And yeah. All right, so now I'm going to try and mount this kind of up here like so. I can't do it with one hand, but kind of like that. And we're gonna see if it works. All right, y'all, so this is what I got. I got all 3 arms on, some zip ties. Literally just comes right off. Not really a hassle or anything. Yep, there she is. And because these are like pressed on to this gear, I'm not really gonna worry about like getting it super crazy tight, this nut. All I'm gonna do is get it on there and then just tighten the jam nut on. All right, so got the pitman arm on. Now I guess all that's left is to throw it back in the truck, get everything hooked up, and then get the system bled. All right, so back out here this morning, got everything on this one, got my solenoid back on, and essentially just gonna throw it back in the exact way we took it out, over here in the corner, get the pitman arm over first, and then kind of maneuver it over. I'm gonna have to crank back on the ratchet strap, and then it should pop right into place. All right, everyone, so piece of cake. Like I said, get the pitman arm up over there first, and you might want to turn it, turn the nut like towards the passenger side of the truck, and then simply just get it over here. Like I said, crank down on my ratchet strap a few times, move the center link back, and then that literally just fell right into place. Yeah, sorry about it, brother. This thing is freaking heavy. So now that it's in, I'm gonna go try and get these bolts threaded. I'm gonna stick a pry bar in here and get the holes lined up, and then try and thread these in, and then I will get the pitman arm cranked down. All right, so got these three tightened down. Now I'm just gonna get the lines back on, then get the steering shaft, and then finally get the computer back on. All right, so I got the steering shaft, the lines hooked up, and the computer's back on and hooked up. I didn't really show that because, you know, it goes back on the same way you got it off. So now all that I have left is to get the sway bar back on, and yeah. All right, so we got everything back together right now, minus the fender liner. But basically what we're gonna do now is bleed the system. So I'm gonna top this off like pretty much all the way full. And then I'm gonna go inside. I'm not gonna turn the truck on, gonna leave the cap off and turn my steering wheel back and forth about 15, 20 times. I'm gonna stop a few times in between there to stop and refill this up, so that way no air gets in the system. And then after I do that for a while and I'm pretty confident that it's full, I'm going to turn the truck on and keep filling it as it's draining. All right, so we got the system bled. It took about 3 or 4 times of me turning the wheel back and forth, you know, several times, and then topping the fluid off and topping the fluid off. But eventually it stopped draining out, so that's when, you know, fire the truck up. So now all that's left is to let the jack down and take it for a drive. Oh man, guys, I can already tell it's buttery smooth. Wow, so much better. Wow, thanks to the guys for Redhead for sending me that new one, man. Man, this feels great, absolutely. Super stiff. There's probably half the amount of play in it before, because I probably should have changed out my center link and tie rods, but wow, man, it feels great. Wow. Yeah, so much better. 1,000,000 times better. Yeah, absolutely. This thing's gonna be a blast to drive now. All right, so there it is. She's running good, nice and healthy now. Now it's gonna let me get back to work, and I still haven't broken it in yet, so let me break it in real quick. All right, guys, so that's that. Truck is all back together. It's happy again, and I can drive to work now in it, so I won't be having to drive that piece of shit around. Probably make some videos on that because it needs a lot of work. But yeah, let me know what I can do better next time. Let me know if you guys want to see anything done to it. And yeah, I hope this video helped and was entertaining.